WFLA Now will begin momentarily. WFLA Now will begin momentarily. Streaming live on WFLA Now, powered by 1-800-ASK-GARY.
Taylor Swift fans upset, angry, demanding answers this afternoon after Ticketmaster crashes under the weight of what they're calling historic demand for tickets to Swift's latest tour. We're live with Josh Benson, Rebecca Barry, here live on WFLA Now. We're also live for you guys. Give everybody an opportunity to kind of chime in here because we know that this is one of the bigger news stories of today online, on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter. The Taylor Swift fans, you guys are going...
Swifties.
The Swifties.
They're on fire today.
Josh, they're going crazy. Now, You have been trying to get tickets. Why don't you just kind of walk us through your experience to begin?
Well, little did I know this was how my day was going to turn out. I had a plan for today, and it did not go as planned by any means, because my wife gave me fair warning that, hey, we have to work to get these tickets. I have a 6-year-old daughter named Bella who is infatuated with Taylor Swift, and my wife is too. I mean, I hear it in my house playing all the time, so I mean, by default, I'm a fan, I guess. I don't think it's to the level of Swiftie, but I think it's important to them to try to get these tickets. So, you know, you had to pre-register, and you had to wait for an email, and you had to be lucky enough to get an email to say, hey, you've been selected. It's almost like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory. You had to have that golden ticket. Now, a lot of people didn't get those. So once this process started, you would have to get that email, and then they told you they're going to send you a code. Now, this is Ticketmaster, and they worked with a company called Verified Fan, I believe. And you're going to have to get this code. And then today, when today came, you would get into a virtual queue. And we could talk about all this, but you get into a virtual queue, and then you wait your turn. And once your turn shows up, you put the code in, and then you should have free reign to get your tickets. That's not how it really played out today.
No.
Is that how you understood it?
That was my understanding.
Yeah.
And they also told you to make sure to do it from a laptop or a computer, that you would have a better experience.
A secure system, yeah.
Yeah, but then people said that they were actually having a better experience on mobile. And for people like me who had to be at work at noon, if you're still in the queue, sorry, missed out.
And I think that's the big problem here, because a lot of people had things to do. They thought, all right, if I'm on at 9:15 like I was told, and I wait till 10, I have everything in order, I'm sitting by my computer and I'm ready to go. You know, maybe like 15, 20 minutes I should be in. Well, once you get in, it showed a screen that said, 2,500 plus. You're in the queue behind 2,500 plus people. Now that stadium holds what, 70,000, 80,000. So how many people are in front of you? Nobody knows. So that screen sat for a while.
Yeah.
For a while. And then all of a sudden, Tara and I, luckily we were both in our own accounts trying to get tickets. So we were very lucky to be at that point. All of a sudden her tab started going a little faster, like, oh, she's moving up in the queue. I'm not moving at all. I'm stuck dead end. And she starts moving, and I'm like, oh, this is great. So, after about 2 hours, we have stuff to do. I'm like, how long is this going to take?
We have lives.
These are real first world problems here, honey.
Alive.
We got to keep moving here. We got a 2-year-old running around driving us crazy too. But we get to a point now where it actually gets to the end of the queue, and Tara gets in. My wife, Tara, she gets in, and now all of a sudden you pop the code in. All right, put the code in. Code's invalid, doesn't work. Now, this is the code that they send to you, okay? So this is where everybody starts to come unraveled, because not only did a lot of people not even get to the queue part, they would have the homepage crashed. They got to a part where they would get to the queue, and then it would show a fatal error, and then they'd have to refresh. Or if you waited a couple hours in the queue and then you had to, something went wrong, they'd refresh, you'd start over again.
Yeah. And you could feel the wheels coming off of this process early on. The first indication that you got that maybe things weren't going to go very well was when they started adding other shows, because the whole process there, and I agree with this process, because what happens is people buy up a bunch of tickets and then just resell them and profit massively. So the whole verified fan process, you had to have an established Ticketmaster account. You had to prove you were a real person.
Like, it's a good idea.
And they were limiting it to 6 people. But then they went, because of the unprecedented demand, they went back and added a show. And when you did the verified fan process, you had to choose which show you were going to go to.
Right.
Yep.
And so then they added more shows. So then they said, well, you can go back and change things or prioritize those shows based on these added shows. And then they added another show. So you already felt like this was going to be a process because you didn't know which show you were going to get chosen for. And so it might not be a big deal for some people. They might take either day off. But if you were trying to get family in from out of town and you only got the Thursday night show instead of the Saturday night show, it was going to be a process. So that's when you felt like things like, ooh, this could be wild. But then yesterday was when I really got the sense that this wasn't going to go well, because I got the email saying you actually got chosen to participate in the verified resale. And of an unofficial poll, I knew about 6 or 8 people that applied for it, and only 2, and I was one of the 2, got chosen for that. So the other people didn't even have the chance to participate in this morning's events. And so then it said that you were going to get texted a code to the phone associated with your account. And then I got the email around 3:30 yesterday afternoon, and then I'm going to bed. It's 11 o'clock, and I don't have the code yet. And so I hop on Twitter, and I'm not alone. I'm reading through all the comments that some people have gotten their code, some people haven't. Twitter and Ticketmaster is responding saying, you'll get your code, you'll get your code. And then as soon as I started looking at it, it was very ironic, because as soon as I started reading through and trying to figure out if I was the only person in the situation, the code came through. But I only got chosen for the Friday night show. So if I had wanted to go on Saturday, it was, that wasn't an option.
So that's Taylor Swift. She had the Saturday to start, added the Friday, added the Thursday. So think about how massive this tour is, because she hasn't toured, I think, in 5 years or something. So, and the last time she was at Ray J, I mean, it was packed. I mean, traffic was tough. You couldn't even hardly get in and out of that place, which is going to be another problem for people heading to Ray J. Transportation is going to be a nightmare. So prepare for that. I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer. I'm just thinking about all the things that are challenging at this point as a dad. I'm like, oh my God, how are we going to make this happen? But yeah, it's a good point, because a lot of people didn't even get access. So now there's other ways to get tickets. There's this Capital One on sale that has been now rescheduled for tomorrow at 2 p.m. local venue time. So
they're going to crash too.
Well, if you have a Capital One credit card, you have suddenly a little more access to get in before the general public has access to get in.
But unless they're holding tickets for that, there's no way there's going to be any left.
Well, they got to be, because a lot of the tickets were already mostly gone. Yeah. The good ones that people are all after. I mean, maybe these are going to be upper bowl or whatever, but
sometimes
it's hard to say.
With other concerts, there's like a section that's only for that, like the Capital
I would hope
almost
they
like a
did
club.
that for the people that have to wait. But what really threw people off too is that once they got in the queue and things were fine and they thought they were going places, it just stuck. So then we knew there was a problem. And no one was going anywhere. So then it was a matter of trying not to tempt yourself to refresh, because you don't know what that's going to do.
You don't know if that's where you're going to be when you refresh.
Right. We're talking with Tara's sister, who's also in Jacksonville on a computer. She got to the end of the line and boom, she got sent all the way back. After checking out, she had to be all the way sent back to the beginning. So she was frustrated. So there was and then all of a sudden you go to Twitter and you're seeing people, I got my tickets. So people are popping up with success stories.
And then you're like,
and then that just somebody's mind is starting to just melt, because you're like, what am I doing wrong? And it's totally out of your control. So I think that's the frustration.
I want to just spotlight some of our commenters. Christy saying #KJB, so frustrated. My daughter is a true Swiftie who qualified for presale. Queue has been paused for over 3 hours and you can't leave or refresh. Right. What is a mom to do? Christy, we feel your pain here, and let me talk about first. Let's bring up the statement really quick. I want to bring up the statement. A few updates on the Taylor Swift tour from Ticketmaster. There has been a historically unprecedented demand, as Josh mentioned, with millions showing up to buy tickets for the Taylor Swift Tix presale. Hundreds of thousands of tickets have been sold. If you've already secured tickets, you're all set. If you're in a queue, hang tight. Queues are moving, and we are working to get fans through as quickly as possible. West Coast on sales for Los Angeles that goes through the West Coast, and then the Capital One thing that you mentioned too here, Josh, as well. I want to point out something that you hinted at a moment ago. This concept, I want to make sure I have the name right.
Verified fan
program is created under Ticketmaster. It is their sub brand, and in essence, it's a great idea, right? Because you're talking about how often are fans or tickets scalped for outside of a venue or online. And all of a sudden, you're talking about people who are selling tickets to great shows and making just gobs of money.
And they're bots too. They're setting up bots to go and automatically do this. So once the tickets go on sale, you don't even stand a chance.
And none of that post sale, that resale value is going to the artist who's really, I mean, put just a ton of effort into putting on that show. So the idea is great, but the execution is an F. Because this has happened. This isn't the first time this has happened.
Right.
There was fervor earlier this year for Bruce Springsteen tickets when people were going crazy for Springsteen, and people were just that one was a little bit different though, because people were getting through, seeing a ticket for like $300, and then they would miss out, and then they would refresh, and then that same seat or right near it was like $800, and then $2,000 for a seat. And then everyone was crying foul and saying, "My God, Bruce Springsteen, how could you do this to us? You're the you're the blue collar guy. You're supposed to be looking out for us. I just want to be able to take my family to see you, and we can't do so." So this verified fan program does not have a good reputation for people being able to access tickets in a fair and respectful way, because we're just not seeing a lot of stories of success.
And I think Taylor Swift will probably kind of come out and say something about this, because so many people are not going to be able to see her. They're going to want to, like this viewer you just had, or hopefully they get tickets. But the little girls out there who want to see this show so badly, Taylor Swift, I would imagine, picks the vendor to sell the tickets. Now, if that's the case for Ticketmaster, they're one of the biggest, if not the biggest. So my problem with them is if they come out and say there has been historically unprecedented demand with millions showing up to buy tickets. Really? You guys are the ones who sent out the codes.
Yeah, you
know what
It's
the
your
possibility.
system. It's your system.
You know the math on how many people would show up, and if 100% of people showed up to this, you probably should have that system ready to go. And by what it sounds like, they've sold hundreds of thousands of tickets now, and people showed up because she hasn't toured in several years, and she just announced this big comeback. She's on the tail end of how many successful, huge record releases. And she's just blowing up, the biggest artist of our time right now. And I mean, that falls on Ticketmaster. And I think and I know there are a lot of people frustrated with that right now.
And it's also too, can we just acknowledge how the days of getting in line for tickets are done, are dead.
Yeah.
And this is maddening because, okay, look, it's not, the virtual convenience is a real thing. Us being able to, okay, let's say we're here at the station today. We don't have the ability to leave work and go sit in a line and camp out for Taylor Swift or Bruce Springsteen tickets. Right. Being able to do so virtually and waiting in a line is a great thing, but it has to work.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's maddening. The days of lines, wrapping around the block for a Guns N' Roses tour in the 80s and 90s, that was a completely different experience, and that is completely gone now and
with
replaced
your
by this.
sleeveless T-shirt on.
That's right, the sleeveless tee. Everyone would hang out. You think, look, there'd be some people in line with a bottle of whiskey, right, going crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a different era, different time.
My husband says assigned seating ruined concerts, because he was from the era where you camped out in front of the stadium for 2 days so that you could run on the field and get your spot.
And look, people put in that time, but they're guaranteed to be there.
Yeah.
With this system, you'll put in the time and you don't know if the system's going to crash and you get kicked off to the beginning. And that is absolutely maddening in this technological era that we're in. And I don't know. I think this will be a learning lesson for Ticketmaster. I mean, they continually have to build better systems, but this one literally broke the system today.
Here's what I'm thinking about too. I can't help but think about this because Josh, I know of course your situation with your family, but how many little girls, how many kids in general, how many kids in general were watching this screen today?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
At home.
Mommy, did you get them yet?
Yeah.
Daddy,
Right.
did you get?
And
nah,
seeing the
still
number
waiting.
in the queue, parents have to feel helpless because they're pointing at this screen.
Waiting for it to move.
Yeah.
Right, and there's zero control that you have over it.
I do think that's part of what makes this the perfect storm, because families are going to this concert.
Right.
It's
Good point.
aunts and nieces, it's moms and daughters.
Right.
And so it's not just the girls' night, maybe an all-adult concert. But I think that makes this Taylor Swift situation the perfect storm, because it's frustrated parents, which we know are quite the force. And so it's frustrated parents who are trying to do something special for their kids, The kids are the true Swiftie fans, of course. I'm a Taylor Swift fan. I don't have kids.
Are you Swiftie level?
I'm not Swiftie level.
Okay,
No,
all right,
no.
Just checking.
But
my wife is definitely a Swiftie level.
Nice.
I
Okay.
have to. Is it nice though? I mean,
No, I mean, like, look, she has fans of all ages, Josh.
sure does.
You I'm sure you know what you have her greatest hits album. just
Vigilante blank
in your head.
Yeah.
well, you know what record would be playing if something ever happened to you guys?
Yep. Mark it down. No, but I think, as you said, it's hard for families because they just want to do something nice. And, there's still, I mean, so here's an example. Some of the front section seats that we were watching go, I mean, if you go to other sites, third-party vendor sites, a site that, a ticket that may have cost $700 or $800, I think that was the height of the tickets that you could get when you went in there. And that's front row, or that's first 10 rows or 20 rows. They're going for anywhere from $2,500 to $30,000.
Yeah,
now that's what they're asking for.
Yeah.
I don't know what they'll get, but we're talking $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 for a pair of seats
For a couple of hours.
up in row 10 or something.
Yeah.
There's
maybe
some
more.
serious greed going on with these.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing. Is that, and this is important to point out, is that if they're not doing it, raising these prices to $20,000, $30,000, that the resale bots out there are going to, because there are people with the money to pay $20,000 for 4 Taylor Swift tickets on a Saturday night.
Especially as the event gets
Right,
closer.
none of my friends either.
Well,
Rebecca,
listen,
but-
as the event gets
We can watch that on
closer and
TV.
people get the FOMO, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, where can I come up with this money to buy these tickets? I'm going to reach out to anybody and everybody. You just got to be careful now on that resale, because some of these codes now will not work. If you think that people are online saying, hey, I'll sell you my tickets, or I'll sell you my code, don't fall for that stuff. You got to go through somebody reputable to make sure that if you're going to buy resold tickets, they have to be done right, because again, it's ripe for criminal at this point activity to try to take money from you. So
Christopher says the same verified thing happened when I registered for Springsteen. I never got notified. Yep, that's what I was just talking about. There's another one here. I don't know what Carol's referencing, but says #HJB. Isn't that technically scalping? Yeah, but it's like scalping by Ticketmaster. It's their own scalping, and it's their own tickets, so they're
not going to fight it because they get a percentage.
That's right.
correct.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, because you can buy the tickets and then resell them right there on the site.
Risk K, #HJB. They're nearly the only ticket vendor. So people were commenting earlier, and I think I have. Yes, I'll go to Emily's comment. This was right at the beginning of our stream. Can we discuss how Ticketmaster is a monopoly who price gouges their tickets based on how popular an artist in an event is? $50 tickets skyrocket to $500 because of popularity, then resold for 10 times over. We were talking about this. At least the silver lining in this is that you're getting rid of the problem technically with bots, and at least the money is going to the artist. But again, Ticketmaster is getting a massive percentage, and they are the monopoly kings of the electronic ticket sales market.
Right.
I mean,
and I think that's part of the problem. And I think it takes somebody like Taylor Swift or a major artist to come in and say, all right, we got to fix this broken system, because we're reaping the benefits, a million times over. Ticketmaster's reaping the benefits. The fans with money are, but it's still, we're losing out on the small fan who, is what made you an artist in the first place. And so they need to come up with a system, either spread the wealth out with bigger sites that can take this kind of situation and make it fair, or build a whole new system that hasn't been thought up yet.
Yeah.
I think that's my opinion.
I just brought up Taylor Swift's Twitter to see if she's commented anything. Nothing just yet. You would imagine that she's going to have to address it at some point, because the amount of broken hearts that there are, including the broken hearts of children across the country. I mean, this is...
well, and look, there's still availability, like we said, this Capital One thing, and then it's open to the public. So, I mean, there's going to be tickets available. I just don't know how many. So you got to be aggressive on something like this. If you really want to try to get tickets, you got to know your times and your dates and where to go, and do your research so you can at least be in the fight to try to, sadly, to try to win tickets to Taylor Swift. You know what I mean?
Yep. It's sad.
You win the opportunity to buy them.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
what's crazy.
And then you're not guaranteed.
Yeah.
So, that's what's the frustrating part.
It just has it come to this?
Sure has.
This is
Yeah.
reality now.
Yeah.
Right? This is...
I mean, this is an encapsulation.
So I told my daughter,
problems.
you sing, you dance, you play guitar. She's 6. I say,
Wow.
you're on your way, girl. You be bigger than Taylor Swift, and then we don't have to worry about tickets.
There you go.
A little
Remember,
motivation. Once she
it
sees
happened.
her, and luckily we're going to go, hopefully, if everything goes well, she'll see her on stage. And I don't think she's seen a concert yet, so her mind's going to be blown. And that's the power of a concert, a live show. I mean, you've been to one. You know that when you leave, you're like, man, that's something I want to do or I wish I could do.
Especially as a kid, it'll stay with you. I remember my first concert. Okay, first concerts. Can we talk about our first concerts?
Okay.
Lee Greenwood.
Wow.
I think he came to the fair.
I think mine was the Chili Peppers.
Oh, I wish.
And then I think Weezer had just come out too, so it was like early on doubleheader.
I don't know why my mom decided to take me to Enrique Iglesias. That was my first concert. Yeah, I know that's not a really. But then after that,
would you dance?
What's that?
If we ask you to
well,
dance?
come on, look, it was Enrique Iglesias. Okay, it was.
If we asked you to dance,
Yeah, that. Remember when he was big? Yeah.
we'll be a hero, baby.
A little dorky me in the crowd and just trying to jive along with everybody.
That's great.
But then I did go to Pearl Jam a few weeks later, and that was
Redemption.
See, that's a
more,
show. That's
that was way more up my alley at the time. But yeah, okay. So crazy idea because I genuinely think that this whole idea of everybody buying tickets virtually now is just a little bit disjointed. There's just something about it that doesn't feel authentic to me because I remember getting in line for tickets as a kid for concerts. I'm not mistaking you. Like I would get in line for tickets for concerts. I remember that experience. Should there be a percentage of tickets for all these shows where a percentage is virtual and then the rest is, hey, look, first come, first serve on the day of the concert?
Oh, but that's crowd control. That's madness. I mean, because everybody's going to be desperate to get them. I mean,
Right.
We're talking Taylor Swift here, so she's like one of the biggest artists. I mean, this isn't much of an issue for smaller artists, would you say? I mean, the
No,
system
I think this
seems
is a
to work
perfect
just
storm.
fine.
I think it's a perfect storm because it's parents that have the means to take their kids to a concert like this. And they're very passionate about it. I know it happened with Springsteen, but I think he's one of the more popular ones as well. I don't think my favorite band is Train. It's not going to happen with Train.
And then you got guys like Justin Shecker, who's a reporter here, who's walking by with a big smile on his face, and he's going to walk in here. And so, did you get tickets?
Can you grab it? There's a wireless.
Look at how happy he
can
is.
hop in my
That
spot.
wireless mic.
I got to work on
Okay,
the forecast
yeah,
a little bit.
you got to do your
Here,
thing.
you can
Okay,
just jump right in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
don't worry about the wireless.
Justin Shecker was tweeting away, so scared that he wasn't going to get tickets, and then all of a sudden just flexed on Twitter saying, "I got tickets."
It worked. We got them, so we're good.
So you're proof that the system works.
Well, so here's what happened. So I had the pre-sale code. I was ready to do it on my phone, and I was told it'd be better to do it on the computer. So here's what I think happened. I get into the system. It takes me like 30 minutes to the queue. I get in. I select
quick.
like pretty nice lower level seats, but then it like wouldn't purchase. It wouldn't go through. I do that twice, and it kicks me back to the queue. 3-hour wait later in the queue. I finally get back in. Got my 300 level tickets.
What
We're going
night? What
Friday,
night?
Friday night.
Justin is out of breath from buying
know.
these tickets.
It's been a
Are you a
morning.
Swiftie?
I'm an adopted one.
Oh, you are?
But someone in my life is a bigger Swiftie, and she's very happy right now. So we're going.
Okay, we're just talking about the craziness that is this system that they tried to use, and on paper it sounds good, but a lot of problems and wrinkles today in that process.
Taylor broke the internet.
She did. She literally did.
She's
She
breaking
broke Ticketmaster.
breaking records left and right. So
Breaking
what do you-
hearts too.
So
'cause
did
a lot
you
of
get
people-
yours, Josh?
I did
just
get
joined.
tickets. Yes, my wife
did.
put in 4.5 hours.
4.5. It was about a 4-hour experience, like 10 to 2. It was a 4-hour experience.
All right, so
So-
the Capital One on sale, that's scheduled for tomorrow at 2 p.m. local time. So if you didn't get tickets, there's that opportunity, but you got to have a Capital One card. And then there's general admission, I believe, general availability
So
tickets.
are Capital One applications going to skyrocket? And that is the business concept, right?
100% they will.
And that's
Because
the
I've
bus-
seen
that's
this
the
with
business
MasterCard.
model.
I've seen this with MasterCard. And I remember
Yep.
pleading with my parents or my friend's parents, you got a MasterCard. We got to get these tickets. And I mean, this goes back over 2 decades where they used credit cards to try to make ins.
So I think the reason I got locked out is because I was logged in on my phone and the computer. That's my theory why the first
can't
purchase.
double
Don't
dip.
double
But,
up.
but,
Yeah.
but like
System's smarter
I was
than you,
only
Shecker.
in line on one, but I think because the account was logged in 2 locations, that's why it like decided to block the initial purchase.
See, then you got
So I
sneaky
knew
guys.
the credit card was working because I bought Lightning tickets like 3 days ago, so the account was good. It just,
It's
Taylor.
It's Taylor.
It's karma. It's
hear him?
karma. It's
Taylor.
karma.
Yeah.
It's Taylor.
Gotta
Yeah.
get rid- yeah.
No, it certainly is, and
Yeah.
it's just sad to think about. How about this, Josh?
Yep.
How many parents were banking on this being their Christmas gift or their holiday gift for their little ones?
And it's not till April, but still, yeah. I mean, I think.
I mean, to
And
say, imagine to have that underneath the Christmas tree to say, you're going to Taylor Swift in
Right.
April. I also feeling for those parents out there. And, backup plan B has to be put into effect for a lot of parents. Look, you can still get tickets. We're not saying that you can't, as Josh has been mentioning, but
it may not be where you
Patience is a
wanted
virtue.
them to be,
Yeah.
but I think there's 3 nights of shows. I mean, that's, what is that, 250,000 tickets?
About 75, right?
Is it 75, 80,000?
70,000, yeah.
Yeah,
They
so
got
it's a
the
lot of
floor
tickets.
seats as well. So,
Right.
look, she added. I mean, she's doing 5 shows in LA, 3 shows in New York. I mean, she had a
You
lot
should
of
tour
shows.
with her and go around
Yeah,
and see
I don't
her.
know
Super
about that. I
fan.
don't know. I'm not there.
Super Swifty Shecker.
we know who should get the night side assignment that night on what was it, Thursday
Oh,
or
the
Friday
Thursday.
night?
So I do the
You
preview
need to
story
cover it. You need to
Thursday,
cover
and then I'll
this.
be there
There you
Friday
go.
to.
You can be our
then a postmortem.
Taylor Swift correspondent.
I'll tell you, the only big show I ever really covered was
Swifty Shecker.
Oh, I like it.
when I was like an on-air intern in Lansing. I covered one of the U2 shows.
Oh,
And that was
wow.
very
Yeah.
exciting. I was like, I got to walk the stage where Bono would be, but I was like still in college. I couldn't afford the seats. So I literally camped outside the stadium in East Lansing and listened to U2 that night. But if I get to cover that Thursday night, I'll do what I can to get a credential for that first show and know exactly what to expect on Friday.
And that's what I'm talking about is people remember their first concert. So for your daughter, Josh, being able to remember, that
Pretty good home run right out of the get-go.
Yeah, no, Josh, nice job.
Yeah.
So this will be the girls' first like big show. Both
Yep.
are both going.
No. The 2.5-year-old, she's losing out. She can wait her turn.
Okay.
First concert was
Dad's gotta
was
take out
with
a
the
small
parents. We
loan.
saw Matchbox 20 with Sugar Ray and Lifehouse.
Ooh.
Wow, for Ashley in our comment
Lifehouse.
section. Matchbox 20 with Rob Thomas. I remember
3
that.
a.m., I must be lonely.
Yeah.
What's the last big show you saw, JB?
The last big one that I saw. Well, I at Margarita Fest. I saw Skinnerd, but that's old Skin. That's not the Skinnerd, but it was big enough to me where I feel like that was kind of cool.
Not I once saw What's Left of the Beach
And
Boys.
I saw Santana. A few weeks
I
back.
saw What's Left of the Beach Boys when I worked in Tucson. That was interesting.
Very cool.
I think it was maybe 2 of them left.
You
And
guys know Death Cab for Cutie?
a few of their
Familiar with
songs.
them.
That
All right,
was
any fans out there, let me know because I'm a diehard fan of those. I'm like a fanboy of Death Cab.
Nice.
Then they had the Innings Festival last year outside Ray J. It was a baseball themed
Yes,
festival.
That's going to be
Remember
big
this.
this year too.
So
Yeah.
last year's lineup was better because Green Day
Green
and
Day's-
Lumineers were incredible.
Yeah.
Incubus was incredible. Goo Goo Dolls, you could tell they got a little older. They still were fun, but that was a fun. And I think this year it's going to be Dave Matthews Band and
Third Eye Blind is there?
Third Eye
like all
Blind.
these
Yes, they're always
randoms.
good. Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. It's my time, my
And then
era.
and I just saw the Chili Peppers in Orlando. It was like a monsoon that night outside Camping World, but they were.
yeah, I
I
saw
mean,
your
they're
tweets
like
from that.
they're like my favorite band.
Well,
so
DMB has Dave Matthews Band has a very
Massive
loyal,
following.
massive
Massive
following.
following, yeah.
So that's going to be huge.
It's just nice to like be back. I mean, like that was one of the things I think we missed the most during the pandemic was
Sure.
just live music. All these major acts being put on hold, and you could see at the Innings Fest just how excited these bands were back to being live. You could like see the joy of them being up there performing. Obviously, when artists like Taylor, what's it been now? What 4 years since her last major?
Yeah, four. At
Yeah.
least 4
So
plus.
I mean, and just the excitement behind this album.
That's
I mean,
what
it's-
Rebecca was talking about as far as the
Yeah.
perfect storm. It's just like also too that she doesn't tour all the time.
Yep.
Just
Yeah.
everything that you just put into
and
this
the
bottle.
album success she's had in the last 2-3
Oh, I
runs
mean,
of
she's-
albums has gone.
Well, this one,
through
I
the
mean,
roof.
yeah, incredible.
So let me put you. We're gonna end out our stream on this. I'm gonna put you guys both up on screen
gotta sit up
here.
straight.
Yeah.
And I
you
got to
guys
run
can-
to my sign before they start pulling me off the set. But yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen, the men on the left and the right side of your screen have gotten tickets for Taylor Swift next year.
It took a battle.
Share your winning ways, Josh and Justin.
Okay, I think it requires patience. It requires preparation, and it requires a wife that will help you out. She did actually a lot of the heavy lifting. I was an assistant role, so I helped. We kind of both came in from 2 different sides and hoped for the best. One would get kicked off, the other would stay true and just wait the time and wait the pain. But patience is key. 4.5 hours. And you cannot refresh. Try not to refresh. Try not to do anything. Just let the system sit and work the bugs out.
and don't be logged into 2 accounts. Make sure you're on your phone or your computer, not logged into both, because I got through the first time, it didn't work. But I'd say patience is a virtue.
And look, if you didn't get tickets, the Capital One on sale tomorrow at 2 p.m. local time, and then the general access to try to get tickets as well. But just be smart if you're going to buy any resale tickets.
I find it interesting. Do not double dip on devices again. Just don't. Just
I think
that
that's
was-
what glitched with the payment process.
You knew that, though, didn't you? Come on. You're a reporter, for crying out loud.
Hey, we got the seats. We're going. That's all that matters.
He figured it out in the end. He got his tickets. So did you, Josh.
Yeah.
Congratulations to both of you guys. And really, but just if you have found this live stream and you are heartbroken because you cannot get through or you're in the queue right now, I think Josh's word of preaching patience. Hopefully you get through, and hopefully that you are successful alongside the two gentlemen that are seated across from me here in the Stream Center. I'd like to thank Rebecca Barry, Justin Checker, and of course, Josh Benson for joining us here in the Stream Center. The very latest on this story on WFLA.com, the WFLA app. We'll see you next time on WFLA Now.